Right, back at the workshop again, and this time it's mostly the MX5. I've realised after thinking about a few things that now it's where it is. I can crack on with everything else so bloody fast that I just want to get on with it now. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Yeah, Thomas's S14 Silvia is on the ramp now instead of my MX5 because, well, A, this is getting really close to completion, and B, I've figured out that, to be honest, the MX5 has no need to be on there anymore. It's such a small and light car that I am going to chuck it on these giant axle stands and do the rest just here, basically. Because obviously with Thomas's Silvia not there anymore, I've got a shitload of room to work around. And this Silvia soon will be driving, so it can go wherever is needed if anyone does need to use the ramp. But to be honest, at this moment in time, I can't see any need. And for this, well, I'm doing a few different things. Mostly though, so far today, exhaust related. Obviously, as you've seen, it's been sitting there with GT35 mounted to the standard manifold, all good. And it did look like it worked that way, but the downpipe looked not impossible, but tight and tricky. So I thought, hang on, something that a lot of the Volvo red block people do if they don't go to a full, tubular manifold, is build a link pipe. And the link pipe is simply a T3 flange at that end, a 90-degree bend to bring the turbo forward, maybe a bit of a straight line, then another 90, then another T3 flange, and hey presto, top mount turbo a bit further forward where there's more room for shit. In my mind, sounded like quite a good idea. Said to Thomas about it, he's like, yeah, let's do it. Because obviously then the downpipe's got a ton of room, like really, you wouldn't even have to try. Thomas was like, well, just go ahead and buy the flanges. Gonna use like this proper serious pipe work, no cheapy shit. And Thomas like, I'll just take it up, and then it'd be like literally unbreakable. Literally, this stuff is ridiculously thick and top quality. And with Thomas's welding, it'd last forever. I was like, oh, you know what, maybe I should mock it up first. And he's like, why? And I didn't really have an answer for that, because, in all intents and purposes, us just holding it with our hands looked perfect. But something kept nagging at my mind that I needed to not mock it up to check. So in the end, just after he left, I thought, fuck it. I got loads of scrap metal. So I got a couple of random T3 flanges I'd lying around, and two bends and a little straight bit, and just spot welded it was a one piece, and used a bit of the old super welding tape as a middle bit, and mocked it up. And yeah, turbo is, a bit further forward. It gives loads of room for the downpipe and all that. Brilliant. Because obviously the biggest bonus of this as well, not just the fact that it allows more room for the downpipe, it allows you to fit a wastegate pipe, takeoff, whatever you want to call it, from this bit, which again makes life a lot easier. But unfortunately, even with these tight bends, which is realistically as tight as you can, so you're not gaining anything really in the way, well, you are gaining a bit in height, you're gaining sort of an inch tops. There's no way the turbo would have cleared the bonnet. I offered it up like that. I literally bolted the turbo to the manifold, that to the manifold, all that, all good. No matter where you had it sat, no matter what angle, it was, because obviously that's why I didn't weld that bit, so I could rotate it so I could have it straight up, or leaning that way, or leaning that way. No matter which way you do it, unfortunately, in an MX5, which is a damn sight smaller car than a Volvo, it would never clear the bonnet. And you know, it wouldn't be massive, but I'd really rather have, I want this car to be, well, like most of my cars, quite sleepery. So I don't want a fucking turbo sticking out the bonnet, and I don't want a giant bulge either. I just want, well, ideally a standard bonnet with some vents at the front to let the air out beyond the radiator and intercooler, mostly for aerodynamic reasons, nothing else. But anyway, yeah, it was unfortunately a no-go. There, it gave quite a lot of room, but even worse chance of clearing the bonnet. The closer you got to the head, the more likely it was, but without getting so close that you'd struggle with the plug leads again, as in shit getting hot. It just wasn't happening. So yeah, scrap that idea, but I'm glad I tried, because if we'd have just made it, wow, even if we didn't made it, even if I just ordered the parts, I'd have to, you know, because the plan was, someone said, don't use like shitty flanges, get 2 real good quality stainless flanges, like thick ones. And then obviously these bends, which Thomas has got, so he said, oh, don't have to worry about them, I've got them. It would have cost me a bit of money, a bit of time, and it wouldn't have worked. So yeah, this is that kind of, you know, they say measure twice, cut once. I always find on cars, when you're building weird shit like this, it's not so much a measuring, is just fucking make a mock-up. Do you know what I mean? Mock something up, see if it works. If it don't, job done. Don't order shit and plan shit and then realise, hang on, it don't quite work. Because this was close, don't get me wrong. It's not like it would be up here, but it was a little bit too much that while it would have, you know, you look at the rear bonnet line, you know, it's fair enough, but because it's further forward, the bonnet's lower here. So, yeah, it would have happened. So, anyway, I have to go back to the, oh shit, how's the downpipe going to work job? And with a typical 3-inch stainless bend like these, there wasn't enough room, really. It would have had to have been, so I thought, but I knew there was enough room, but I thought it was going to have to be some custom bends. I kind of had it in my head, it was going to have to be kind of an S shape, so it comes out the turbo, back on itself, and then like that to the downpipe. Turns out, thankfully, no. I found this in my collection of stuff, which is one of those tight 3-inch bends where they make it out of like a stainless donut, where they cut it in half, and yeah, it's tight. This is from, I had this from Jetex years ago. Jetex are a bloody good company for getting exhaust bits and pieces from, like unusual and good stuff. They're an exhaust company that's been around for years, like making aftermarket exhaust. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but they do custom exhaust parts, and they're surprisingly not well known considering they're fucking useful. So yeah, this is one of them. And yeah, it turns out with this, obviously it's got the V-band on the back already, it'll fit. And then it is literally a straight pipe that will clear the block and down to the ground. So yeah, turns out fucking brilliant news. A wastegate is going to have to be, you know, welded directly, well, a flange and then a wastegate directly to the turbine housing, which is absolutely fine. You can buy some turbine housings already made like that, but you know, it's quite normal on certain applications to, you know, do this yourself. I can fit it underneath, sort of at the very beginning of the scroll, but it will be tight, like not much room there at all. On the top here, which is sort of at least, well, it's about halfway around the scroll, 2/3 even, it would be much nicer place to put it, but I don't know if it's viable here, as in for proper boost control, because it's so far around the scroll already. I don't know if that makes much difference or any difference. I will look into that. But either way, I can pull it underneath if I have to, and I can put it here in an ideal world. I'd rather not have it this one because it gets too close to the brake master cylinder. But underneath or on top is definitely a goer. On top is better for pipe work as well, because I can either run a screamer out the bonnet, which I don't know if I want to run a screamer full stop, to be honest, or although I don't like doing it because it's not great for flow, I could just get it, you know, I could just plumb it back to the downpipe just there. Either way, I've got plenty of options, all good, so, you know, I'm not complaining. Next thing is, again, because I've got so much fucking old pipe work, well, not even old, a lot of this is brand new or near as damn it, I thought, hang on, I've probably got enough for the entire exhaust system. And weirdly enough, I have. Like, not just sort of enough, but for my plans, I've got all the weird bits that would be needed. So this is the general gist of how it would be. So you've got the downpipe, and then the centre section. It's not going to look like this as such. This is, you know, just so you got a general idea. That's off my rear wheel drive Subaru, I think. This is all 3-inch, by the way. That is, again, I think that was the middle box off that Subaru. Not sure, but it looks like it might have been. Whatever. Practically new, whatever it is. And then, just by pure luck, because like I mentioned in the last video, I think, I'm gonna have twin side exits, one either side. And weirdly, again, this is from Jetex, I think, and I don't even know why I own it, but I do. I've had it for years. This pipe here, which basically goes, well, the outlet is 2 3-inch. I think the inlet technically is 3.5, but I found a little cone reducer, so it would be easy to, you know, don't know something like that, but it sounds like a lorry is about to hit some cars. But yeah, so it goes 3-inch, then a little cone section to enlarge it a little to the 3.5, and then that splits into 2 3-inches, and I'll have a 93-inch either way, and then obviously a little straight bit, and then the tailpipes, which, as I mentioned which as I mentioned on the last video about the MX5, is going to be these, which looks like NASCAR boomtubes, but they're actually off a Tornado fighter plane. Can't remember exactly what they're for. Something to do with the aircon, because the aircon takes hot exhaust gas and stuff from the jet. I think this is just like the outlet, the wastegate part. I don't even bloody know, but whatever. It's slightly sooty, so I'm pretty sure it's jet engine outlet, and it's heat wrapped, so it obviously used to get fucking hot. I think it's made of titanium, which is nice, but more to the point, they look fucking badass. I feel bad even cutting this up, because it's a proper work of art, but it's a work of art that no one can do anything with. Can't go on another Tornado, they've all been retired. So, you know, I feel bad taking this off as well. This kind of heat shield is bloody expensive. Inchumat, this one. And the quickness it destroys angle grinder blades. I've just used one whole one and about a third of that one just to cut this. Normally one whole one of them will last a shitload of normal, you know, stainless steel or whatever, but going by the white sparks, this is, I presume, titanium, maybe Inconel, I don't bloody know. Whatever it is, it's fucking awesome and makes good sparks. But also makes some very cool tailpipes. In fact, yeah, oh fuck yeah. I mean, obviously it's going to be up a bit, up by about an inch, because of I'm going to cut some of the sill away. That's, you know, and obviously it'll be more flush, but one of them each side, kicking some massive flames. Fuck yeah. Definitely. This is the way to go for sure. Yeah. Even on this side, I am properly pleased with how they look. So yeah, it'd be that to that to that. I reckon that's probably about the right distance too, because well, it's a tiny little car, isn't it? So downpipe, your own, yeah. There ain't going to be much of this. Looking at it, there's probably only just going to be enough room for that one silencer, and then out the fucking boom tubes. But fuck me, that looks badass. Yeah, maybe I'm childish, but I'm loving this. I mean, thing is, right, I grew up loving the RS500 touring cars, and they had side exits like that. Once when I had my Cosworth, I went to, it probably would have been like the year 2000, I went to Ford Fair, and somebody was selling, and it was only about 125 quid, a genuine RS500 touring car side exit exhaust, which was completely unsilenced with a tailpipe pretty much exactly like that. And I chickened out of buying it, and I've regretted it ever since. And like, obviously the prices of them went through the roof like as time went by, but I'm reliving my well, I've told you before on this, I'm trying to build my sort of perfect car for my fun, and part of the fun is, well, shit you like, and I like that. Right, since the last bit of the video, as you can tell, the car's up in the air a bit, and the reason is, well, it's where it needs to be for me to finish it. But first of all, it meant I can have a look at what I was doing with the exhaust. Obviously these NASCAR style boom tubes off the Tornado, I had them just sort of mocked up in place before, but now I have basically got them where they're gonna be, you know, full stop, which is here. I see I've notched the skirt. I think these are genuine Mazda speed skirts, you know, but whatever. Yeah, notched the skirt. I've cut the lip off along the sill, which means I'm gonna need to re-weld it to get it at the right sort of height. But there's no point me literally notching the sill, because on these cars, they're so small, the chassis rail's, you know, a couple of inches behind, so it has to go around that anyway. So this is, you know, plenty. It's fine. Ground clearance, wow, it should be fine. Well, to be honest, it's not going to be the worst bit, because of underneath the car, the way the layout is, it kind of, the exhaust has to go after the downpipe underneath the gearbox to swap to this side of the car. And also for side exits, it's got to go under the chassis rails again. So yeah, the exhaust is always going to be one of the lowest parts of the car. But I'm going to run slightly bigger rolling diameter tyres than these anyway. I'm probably going to run 205 55s, like some probably some semi-slick like fucking Max Sport RB for tarmac rally tyres or something like that. Because 205 55s on MX5s, in my opinion, kind of look better than these 195 50s. So, and it helped me with a little bit of ground clearance. Well, not by much, probably only about 20 mil, but still, anything's a bonus because I'm not going to have much. Yeah, under the car, I'm going to see if I can get hold of some of that sort of, you know, the oval tubing for exhaust for like maximum clearance. They're not, it doesn't give you a huge amount of clearance. I mean, literally, like the equivalent 3-inch one is basic, goes down to still slightly over 2 inches, so it's not like you suddenly gain loads. I'd prefer it to be much narrower and much wider, but that doesn't exist. But either way, I'll get hold of some of that. It's bloody expensive, mine, to help with ground clearance. Exhaust wise, because there's going to be so little of it, because normally on an MX5 the main silencer's at the back, all I'm going to have room for is one epoxy thing like that. So it's fair to say it's going to be loud, but whatever. I mean, this it probably wouldn't pass track day noise regs, but this car's a 99% road hooligan and fuck about on drift days, which are not as strict for noise limits. I mean, it's not going to be like straight piped. It's going to have a turbo and a single silencer to cut down the noise, so it's not going to take the piss, but it will be not quiet. I mean, to be honest, what I'll do is where it splits to 2 for the side exits, I'll put a V-band there, and then if I need to ever in the future for track days, I'll just literally create a 3-inch rear system with a couple of big silencers where, because there is room, and there you go, it'd be quiet enough. But you know, yeah, you know, that covers all bases. I can't see me being that fussed on track days, because the thing is, the reason I'm not that fussed on track days is because you try and do anything fun and you get black flagged. So yeah, that's not my idea of driving, really. So yeah, either way, that looks fucking cool where it is, in my opinion. I don't know what you think, but I'm loving that. And obviously it's going to be one either side. Titanium, RAF surplus jet fighter parts, which are actually look like NASCAR boom tubes or RS500 side exits. So yeah, that's right up my street. Imagine fucking the big flames from the anti-lag coming out of either side out of them. That's going to be badass. In other news, I've took the back bumper off because, well, the bumpers on these MX5s weigh a fucking ton. The actual bumper weighs nothing, but all this shit behind it is bloody heavy, so that's going. And yeah, MX5s are well overbuilt, to be honest. I mean, they're very lightweight, but they could be a lot lighter. They're not like a Lotus or a kit car where there's fuck all to remove without, you know, making it floppy. So I'm going to, now the rear towing eyes, the standard ones, which again weigh a ton, are going to be gone. I'm going to cut this, so I'm going to cut these metal sort of rear arch fucking, like they're like mud guards, but metal to the chassis. Cut them away, possibly cut the lips off this, certainly cut these 2 chunks off, which are basically where the jacking points, not jacking points, the toe and eye thing was a standard. They would work good as jacking points, but to be honest, that's what, you know, the diff's perfectly fine for that. There's so little overhang on these, you don't need like really far back jacking points. So yeah, as much as I'm not going to make this car sort of a floppy mess and drivable at speed, I want it to be solid at high speed, because this thing will get to high speeds quickly. I don't want it to be heavier than it needs to be, so any kind of excess shit is being cut away. what I'll do as well, because honestly on most cars, and especially on these, the back bumper is literally a fucking parachute. It's probably the most drag creating part of the car, because obviously all the air that comes underneath the car just gets caught in this giant parachute of a back bumper. And because I'm cutting away the lower section anyway of the metal, and that's not going to be there, I'm going to do I don't know what these people call it. Sometimes they call it shit like bumperectomies and all kinds of bollocks. But basically, I'm going to cut away the bottom half of the bumper, which I'm not fussed on the looks. A lot of people do it for looks. You know, oh, look at me, I'm a race car. I want to do it to get rid of the drag, and because, you know, there's no need. I don't think it looks anything... I think I prefer the standard look, but for less weight, less drag and all that, it's being done, you know. That's what this car's all about. I'm in two minds about, you know, it had both spoilers. The ducktail one on the back is definitely staying because I want some downforce at the back. But somebody suggested to me that the one on the roof would fuck up the downforce for the one on the back. And I'm not doing it just for fucking looks, so I might only run the one. But whatever, I don't know, I'm not an aerodynamic expert, I need to look into that. I expect one of you lot to pipe up about that one, because you probably know more than me. I've never, you know. But I want the front and rear, you know, from experience of driving MX5, the Cosipad one at 160 plus. They're unstable at fucking 100 normally, but with a few modifications to the front especially, they're really fucking stable. And while the ducktail will certainly help at the back, I don't want it to the other thing to counteract it, so we will see. Yeah, I really like those side exits. Honestly, I really like what this car looks like from the back as well. I know the fucking, it's like half covered in wrap and the paint shit, but I do think a properly done MX5 looks pretty badass. For a car that's completely gay normally, they can look mean as fuck done right. It does help that you can see carbon fibre sparkle bucket seats through the back window. You know, that kind of gives the game away a little bit of this thing ain't fucking about. But yeah, I'll tell you another thing. Accidental but useful. On one of my engine collecting missions the other day, I picked up another one, and it came with this bolted to it. I've never seen one before. All the other engines I've had come with this. This is the accessory bracket on these engines. So it's the aircon and alternator, if I remember rightly. Yeah, because power steering's on the other side. And it's massive because of the aircon especially. And to be fair, considering it's aluminium, that's heavy. Heavy as fuck. But this one didn't come with aircon. And so the bracket, which I've never seen before, because obviously the only ones I've ever had used to have aircon fitted to them, which most of them seem to, is literally only about a third the size, and honestly it's about a third the weight as well, maybe less. It weighs fuck all. So that's just for the alternator, which is perfect. It takes up a lot less room, and it sits like so, which is brilliant, rather than the other one, which sits right up there to right down there, which is fucking awful. So, very happy I accidentally got that, because I like things to be as uncluttered as possible. Obviously this side, nothing yet, because I was only mocking up the exhaust to see if it's viable and what it's really going to look like. And the answer is fucking awesome. On Tuesday, because bearing in mind it's Saturday evening now, on Tuesday I'm taking a quite a long voyage, work purposes of course, because this is work, to go and pick up two more Volvo engines. They're two that I've never had before, and although I've been on about what engine is going in this one, it's entirely possible, depending on a few things, condition, because I got just the guy's word for it, that at least one of these, at least parts of one of these engines will be going in the engine for this. Possibly the entire fucking possibly the entire engine plus modifications. But that'll be for another video. It'll be a case of look at this, and also a video of me dismantling them, because I need to see what they're all about. They're fucking awesome though, and it's very, very cool. And it'd be if it plays out like I hope, like I've worked out, it'd be fucking ace in this. It really goes along with my whole plan for this car, my whole what I want it to drive like, to feel like. These new engines, one of them especially, and you know, if not the whole of one of them, then parts between the two of them to make one, is fucking awesome. One thing I'm not doing though, so don't people think that, I'm not going 16 valve head. But either way, this is where we're at. And yeah, that's about it, I think, for tonight. But massive, massive progress already. Everything's going right. I'm very pleased. I fucking love this car. The Volvo's still been a nightmare, but that's for another video as well. It's fast, but it's a fucking nightmare. So, I better say my goodbyes. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it, and I hope you can see this thing is getting proper nuts. And obviously between this, Thompson's thing in the background, which it'd be starring in some stuff, you know, starring in some videos of mine later on and on this channel, so definitely go to his one. And the Econoline van, the Bentley one, which we just bought 2 turbos and 2 wastegates for, so that'll be a video coming soon. Yeah, there's just no end of mad shit happening. And once the V5 arrives for the Merc, when, yeah, that's getting into some proper road action and some drag action when the fucking drag strips open again, and I buy some bloody slicks. The Volvo, I've been doing a lot of testing and filming on that for these new modifications, but because of it being cursed, as you know, it's taken a while, because I'm like, test a bit, break a bit, test a bit, break a bit. No major breakages, just weird shit enough to stop me testing that night. But again, that's another story. And yeah, the curse is ridiculous on that thing. I mean, nothing big breaks, it's just stuff to stop me, you know, that evening or whatever. But again, you'll see that in the next video. So anyway, like this, subscribe, because I want this channel to grow, to be honest. It's not like a fucking, you know, it's not my life goal, but the more it grows, the more I can give to you, because you know as well as I do, I love this shit. I do it for my own fun, but if I ever made any money out of it, I'll be building even madder cars, which gives you even more entertainment. So, you know, subscribe, share it, tell everybody to subscribe. Just gives a hand, gives you a hand, doesn't it? So, see you later.